What's up, YouTube? Boston Chris back with a brand new video, and I am going to talk about the great disturbance in the force that was felt throughout the community that happened over the weekend at the C2E2. I know that I am not a huge channel, a big channel, or anything like that, so I might not have the subscriber count or any of the other stuff. You know, I'm not the most popular channel, but I've been here doing this for a while now, and I think I've earned my spot to go ahead and give my opinion on it from my perspective as a collector. So that's what we're gonna do. And there's other channels that talked about this and went into great detail, and there was some really good conversations on the background of this from the start to finish. Keep It Thorough Comics had a great conversation about it yesterday on his channel. Two Brothers had a really good conversation about it on their channel. I want to say it was on Saturday. Bronze Age Nerd, as far as I know, and I might be off, but he was the first channel that I had saw that went ahead and started talking about this. And I think it's Heatseeker Comics on Instagram went live to talk about his perspective from being somebody who does exclusives, how he feels about it, and what happened and what went down. And I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen posts on Instagram that from both sides of the conversation, how people feel, how people and really I think that from my point of view, at what I do, why I'm into this community, what I do this for. I'm a collector at heart, so I collect books because collect books that I like. I collect action figures. I like Funko Pops, all types of different things, but mostly it's comic books, and share them with you guys on my channel. And I think that when it comes to con exclusives, I think that there's something that needs to be done to, I guess, reevaluate. Well, people in general may need to reevaluate what they value when it comes to a convention exclusive. Just because, I mean, to give, I guess, the story, and everybody should know this, and those guys went into probably better detail than I'm going to be able to do about it. But at the C2E2, there was a Ultimate Fallout 4 facsimile that was a con exclusive, and they went ahead and they sold it on Friday. And what happens with this is that a company called Black Flag put this book out, and they went about it, I feel like, this is my opinion, in a very, very lazy and bullshit fashion. So they went ahead and they printed out these acetate covers, and they attached it to a Clayton Crane facsimile that was, I guess, either an exclusive or something of that nature in November of 2021, and it's dated on that November 2021. So this is not something that they, like, regardless of what some people will tell you, that they went ahead and they printed these things out themselves. No, they didn't. They printed out the acetate cover, and then they, in the laziest method possible, went ahead and married the cover. And I don't give a shit what anyone tries to say, like, oh no, they didn't. No, they married that cover. They went ahead and they took a stapler and they stapled it to the other book. And that is ridiculous. That's so lazy. And if you're a company that's selling comics, or putting out con exclusives and putting out comics, that the fact that you're gonna do that and then still charge what you would guess would be a premium because it's con exclusive and it's low numbers, that's completely just wrong. I think it's wrong, and I don't care how I mean, other people might think I'm wrong for saying that or not like my opinion on it. That's fine. You're entitled to yours, but I'm telling you right now, that is a shitty business practice, and everybody knows that. Because if it happened in another way, and people got wind of it, let's put it this way: if this happened 3-4 years ago and people caught wind of it, that'd be one of the first things, and everybody'd be dragging that company. So I don't want to hear that shit about, like, oh no, well, see, they're gonna ahead and they're trying to reimagine and put something out in a way that makes it a sought after book and all the rest of it. No, that's bullshit. What they did is they took a chance to do a cash grab, and they did it. And the way I see it is, more power to them if that's the way they're gonna do their business. But just know, everybody's seen what you do. So the next time you put out a con exclusive, everybody's gonna know that it's, you know, just some fucking ragtag piece of shit that you stuck together on purpose to sit there and try to make money off of people. So that's fine. That's the way you want to do your business. You go ahead and do that. So that's, you know, whatever. And you know, the thing that, you know, makes it ridiculous is or partly ridiculous, is that you had, you know, the next part of this story that made people upset was that you know, right now in the community, as far as comic collecting as a hobby, there's a lot of different avenues now that people are using to sell books, which is perfectly fine. No one's upset about that. I'm not going to get mad and say this isn't right. But what the trend is that I think is starting to happen that's not good is that they're trying to, I guess, market these books or have big comic channels or big comic influences, whether it be through Instagram, whether it be through whatnot, whether it be through combination of the two or three, YouTube, whatever. They're trying to have basically these big places that have influence in the comic community to go ahead and basically go ahead and help them promote and push this and pump this book up, or pump books in general up, so that, you know, they you know, the whole pump and dump, like, oh, we gotta get these books up and make them sought after, and that creates frenzy within the community. That creates that FOMO. And I mean, I'm gonna say this, and it's not to sit there and say that, you know, the sellers are, you know, fully to blame and everybody who's pumping the book is fully to blame, because that's, you know, as collectors we have the ability to sit there and say this thing's a piece of shit, I don't want it. But if you just sit there and let them charm you and get you into, like, oh, I have to have it, you can't get pissed off at them for that, because you're the one that's being you know, seduced into getting this goddamn book when you don't even need it. And before anyone starts talking shit and be like, oh, well, you know, he's just mad that he didn't get one. I don't care. I didn't go to C2E2. I'm one of the people that sat at home and watched this whole thing unfold through Instagram and everything else, and seeing everything else. And on top of that, I don't need that bullshit book when I have the fucking first print right here. So before anyone starts to, you know, I mean, and I don't think anybody would, but I'm just saying in general, if that's people like, oh, he's a FOMO guy. No, I'm not. I don't care. I got mine double signed by Clayton Crane and Mark Bagley. I'm happy with it. And you know what? That's to me is, you know, if you want a Miles book, that's the one to get. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, if that's, you know, if that's what you do, like if you collect them all and you want to have all the Miles, you know, facsimiles and just everything about that book, that's cool. I'm not gonna sit there and give you a hard time about that. But what what I've heard and what I think is kind of a crazy situation is that apparently, and I wasn't there, so I can't say full out this is what happened, because I don't know for sure. I'm just, you know, going by stories that I've heard through, you know, what was going on from people from both sides telling their side of the story, saying that, like, you know, this is what happened. But from what I've heard initially, for the people that were, I guess, detractors of it, they were saying that, you know, there were influencers that were, you know, given preferential treatment, that were basically either moved up to the front of the line or were able to skip the line entirely, go right to the booth, to the Black Flag booth, and buy as many copies as they wanted, because Black Flag didn't put a limit on that. Now, what I'll say about the limit thing is that it's not the people's fault that, you know, Black Flag didn't put a limit. That's Black Flag's fault. So that part of things I can't get too upset about, just because I think, I mean, even though I think it's a shitty practice, you know, if they don't put a limit, they don't put a limit. Nothing you can do about that. But you know, but allowing people to kind of, you know, go ahead and you know, take that book out, you know, and just kind of get past the line and not have to wait when you have all these other people that are waiting, you know, knowing full well that, you know, there's going to be people that aren't going to get the book, and you know, that's supply and demand. Nothing you can do so much about that. But just knowing that, you know, this is what the attempt is to pump this book up like crazy, so that you're getting, you know, way higher than what the actual asking price of $85 is. That's kind of a shitty thing to do. And you know, hey, some people, you know, I'm not gonna fault people for trying to make money. Like, I get it, but I think that, you know, you almost kind of have to look at it and say, you know, is this a dirty way of doing it? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you can say it and say, well, it's there and anybody could have done it. You could have got up in the front of that line and you could have, you know, basically went ahead and bought as many as you wanted. But the question is, could I really have done that? Could I have been first in line? Let's say I got there before everybody. Would I have been the first one to buy that? And buy as many as I wanted. So if I wanted 17, I get 17. If I wanted all 750, if I'm a baller and I get that kind of money, do I get all 750 if I just walk up and did that? Maybe. But the point of the matter, or the point of contention that a lot of people are having, is that apparently there was no way for anybody except for these select people to get those books. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's hard to say because, again, I wasn't there. I couldn't speak on that and say, yes, this is what happened. But I will say this much. I have been in a situation semi-similar to that. And it was in 2019. Todd McFarlane was doing a signing at Boston Fan Expo. He was, you know, just, they booked him. He was the big, you know, one of the big name people for that weekend. And on the Saturday, he was going to go ahead and do his signatures. And just so happened that on that Saturday, they were going to be releasing a, you know, an exclusive of the Spawn 300 that was, you know, just going to be there, and people wanted to get it. So of course, you know, you had people that were excited and wanted to get that book, and you had exhibitors and dealers that were there, that were in the know, and they went ahead and they started putting people ahead of everything. They were there, you know, on the show floor, wandering over from their booths before the door opened. So there was that. Then I watched, and this is the truth, I watched people give exhibitor badges to people that they knew that, you know, they were able to go ahead and you know, oh, they had the little VIP like me, and so they were going to get a half-hour early entrance to go, you know, into the show. And so I'm standing there with other people, and you know, I'm watching them giving this, yeah, man, just go right here. And then so as we're watching, I'm watching exhibitors walk up and, you know, to the booth and everything where Todd's going to be at. And then they say, okay, guys, you can go in. And I watch grown men sprint to the booth as fast as they fucking can because they wanted to be there to get the con exclusive, and Todd was only signing 2 books. And I think that was the limit for the con exclusive, which you could buy 2. So their whole deal was that they were going to sit there and run up and grab, you know, go ahead and get all the spots so that nobody outside in the general public could get those spots, and then buy, you know, have them go ahead and buy those con exclusives and sign them so that they had the signed con exclusive at the show and nobody else could have them. And that was ridiculous, and that got called out real quick because I am a fat, slow man. I'm not outrunning anybody. So as soon as I saw people start running, I was like, this is ridiculous. And I just walked up, and I got in the line, and where I was, they were gonna cut us off. I think I was like maybe like 10 or 15 people back, and so they cut us off, and they like, oh no, this is the last guy. There's no other people. And then so of course, like anything else, people just wanted to go there and get their books signed by McFarlane. They didn't care about the 300. You know, I wasn't there for the 300 variant. I didn't give a shit about that. I had books that I wanted to get signed by Todd because I'd never seen Todd before. And so, you know, of course, you know, we started saying like, hey man, what's going on with this? Like these guys are all dealers. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? You know, we were waiting in line to come in. We got the VIP access, and here we are, the regular people. And then these guys all got badges and stuff. And you know, they're all like this. So then they made a ruling that said anybody who's a dealer or an exhibitor has to get out of line. That's not right. Like, this is not what it's here for. And I guess because they had, I guess Todd had a thing against it. He was like, I'm not doing it like this. So they all had to get out of line. I ended up getting my 2 books signed, and it was all well and good. And there was no problem. But even back then, so this isn't a new thing. This has been a couple of years that this shit's been going on. Like, in the way of that people will do underhanded tactics to try to get stuff, you know, to limit who can have things and who can't, and try to make it so that like they're able to make more money and say, I got the one and exclusive, and this is what, you know what I mean? So I find that to be just a not cool practice. It's a dirty way of doing things, and I'll say that all day. It's dirty. I think it's dirty. That's just me, you know. And when it comes down to it, you know, that's a different situation in general, just because yes, it's a con exclusive, and yes, it's a variant, and it's of a book that was, I think, at that point in time just being released. So it's something that went along with it. But I just think that when it comes down to it, it's not really the cool way of doing things. And now that there's more avenues for this, you saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, where I think it's like some crazy con exclusive variant because of FOMO sold on Whatnot for like $1,000. The day it came out. That's fucking ridiculous. So to add to the third piece of this, or the third layer to this whole thing, where you have that type of stuff going, is that apparently on the same day that this book came out, and I think it was Thoro was the one that had put a timestamp to it and said, basically 20 minutes after this book was sold, 20 minutes after it was sold, there was already a 9.8 listed on eBay for a starting bid of $650. And then there was a 9.9 listed at $2,000. I'm not stupid, and neither are any of you. And we all know when we send out books to CGC to get graded, there's no fucking way that they're going to have that book graded within 20 minutes of it coming out. Even if the con's in goddamn Florida, you have to wait for that book to get graded. And so that's another thing that draws a bone of contention, because it's like, not only was there listings of a 9.8, so people had this ahead of time apparently, even though they said no, it's happening right now. Somebody went ahead and had it graded. They put to a side and got them graded. Some type of deal went down, and then you see the books, and there's 4 and 5 staples in these fucking things, and they're still getting 9.9 and 9.8s. We all know, we're not stupid people. We know, anybody who's in the community that has been doing this for a while and knows, if you make any sort of restoration, if you make any sort of, anything like that, you're either going to end up with a green label or a purple label from CGC. So they get a blue label and then that 9.8 or 9.9, that's bullshit, and everybody knows it. So CGC is also to blame in all this, because they helped with this whole deal. And I'm not saying that like, they put out an apology saying that like they're sorry, they didn't know, or whatever like that. Whatever, man. You know what I mean? It's just, it helps to, it's all these things coming together that makes it kind of just, I look at it where it's just like, it's not quite pure anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you're going to do these dirty things and dirty practices, like, it doesn't hurt me as a collector, because it's not a book I want anyway. But, it's just really, like, is that the type of practice you want to do? Is that what has to happen? Is that what, is that what it takes to make something, popular, to really, is market manipulation where everything's kind of gone now? Is that what it all takes? Is that, I'm going to go ahead and pump this book up and go ahead and sell it? So, like, there's no need to follow the trend, I don't think. But on top of that, it's just like, what constitutes a con exclusive? What's a good con exclusive that you should really care about, that I think as a collector that I would care about, that I really would be like, yeah, I have to have this? Because there's all kinds of books you can get, and I understand that, and I'm not upset about it. Like, I'll show you right now. Like, I got, so this was from 2018. This is the con exclusive that came from being a VIP, and I got it signed by Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Kana, and I forget who the other one was. It was it Harden? Yeah, and Chad Harden. So I got this signed by all 3 of them. But this was the book that, this was the exclusive that they were given in Boston Comic Con, and so and that's all I had on it was Boston Comic Con. They made a new printing, and they had this thing put on there. That's perfectly fine. And I had this signed by them. Now, is this book worth all kinds of money? No, but it's a book that I'm keeping because I'm a fan of Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Kana and Chad Harden. I like those people. I've met them. They're really nice people, and it's a book that's in my collection because I like having it. So it's a con exclusive. Would I go out of my way? Now, if it wasn't given to me in the VIP swag bag or whatever, would I have taken it? No, I don't. I wasn't gonna go out of my way to buy this if I didn't have to. This was given to me, so I took it. You know what I mean? But what stuff do I do? Go ahead and try to get. What type of stuff do I consider to be a con exclusive that you should go after? Something that makes sense, something that, we need to redefine what an actual true con exclusive is, that's worth going out and getting, that's worth being something that, you know, is not so much for FOMO, you know what I mean, but just is worth it to you as a collector to have. Like, oh, like, this is amazing. I'm really excited I got this thing, you know what I mean? That's what you need to look for. That's what I think, you know, makes sense. And this is where I'll go with it, all right? Signatures of people that you you know, don't either get a chance to see or that you've always wanted to see. The Todd McFarlane signature I got, my Jim Lee signature that I got, I've never seen those guys before. So that's a con, for me, that's a con exclusive. It happened at that con. It's something that I treasure, and it's something that I am excited to have had. When I went to meet Roy Thomas at the Neiman Expo last year, he's a guy that hardly ever comes up this way. He's an amazing creator, and, you know, one of the best that you know, was there to do it. Super excited to have him. George Perez, when I met him back in 2013, amazing guy. One of the best experiences I've ever had as a comic fan, meeting a creator. That guy was genuine, and he was amazing, and he was a great person. And that's a con exclusive that's something that still I treasure to this day, being able to say, I met George Perez, I got to talk to him, I got to, you know, have a great time with him. My friend, and this is, there was another con that they did, and I got my friend a sketch by George Perez for a wedding gift, because he was a big fan of Robin growing up as a kid, and I got him that because he was my best man. That was my best man gift to him. That is an amazing story. That's an amazing thing, and that's a con exclusive. That's a memory that I don't have to lose. That's a memory that I think is amazing. That's one of the things I think is a con exclusive. Not some fucking book that someone's putting out there that's going to be, you know, pumped up and, you know, just exploited and sold on eBay for crazy money. That's not a fucking exclusive. That's an exploitive. That is exploiting people, I think, to an extent. And if you let yourself get exploited for that stuff, that's perfectly fine. If you have to have that book, you go right ahead. But just understand that that's not, in my eyes, that's not an exclusive. That's a cash grab. You want to make somebody else some money? Perfectly fine. You want to have that book, just say you have it. You do you. I'm not here to sit there and shit on people for you know, wanting to collect certain things. You do whatever you want. And I'm not here to give people a hard time about selling books. I've sold books too. And I'm not, you know, going to sit there and be like, oh, I sell books, but I'm better than you. No, I'm not. I'm not better, but I wouldn't do it in this way. If I had the ability to do it, I would not do it like that, because I think that that's just it's just a dirty practice. And I'll say it over and over again. You want to know another convention exclusive that I think everybody should have, that you know, is great to go along with? There's something like this. And this didn't come from a convention, but this was something that, it's a one of a kind. It was done for me, and I think this is amazing. So this was given to me by ComicHead84. I bought a book from him on Instagram. He went ahead and he did me this sketch real quick. And you know, he just sent this along with the book. I wasn't expecting it, and it's something I treasure. This is awesome. So he made this sketch for me, and I was like, this is great. Getting original art, that's a con exclusive, because you go out to the artist and you say, hey, listen, I got this blank cover right here. Can you do a remark for me? Can you do this here? Can you do that? Absolutely. And then you pay the guy, he does it right there, and then you have a book that's yours and yours alone that has some amazing art put on it. That's an exclusive. And you can be proud of that, and you can display that, and you can have that. That's an exclusive. Another thing that's a good con exclusive that I actually got for my daughter, and I, you know, have to wait to give it to her because she's 4 and she's going to destroy it at some point, which I don't want her to, but something like this. Now, you can get this in other places, but I got a sketchbook for her, and it's all these, you know, it's from Chrissy Zulo, and it's just, you know, a bunch of art that she's done. You know what I mean? All these different, you know, poses and characters and all this type of stuff. And then she signed it as well, so that's cool. That's a con exclusive. You know why? Because I got to meet her, have her sign it, and it happened at that con. That's an exclusive. That's an experience that I had. That's something that I got for my daughter for the first convention that I ever took her to, which happened back in April at the Wicked Comic Con. So, rather than get caught up in this FOMO and worry about having the new exclusive book that has to be, oh, blah, 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 don't, at least to me, this is my thoughts on it. You guys can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, like, look, take a second and redefine what you think is worth being an exclusive. What is worth it to you to collect that is going to make your con experience amazing? What's going to be something that you're going to be able to say, hey, listen, I got this, and it's just, you know, it's great. I love this thing. This is one of my favorite things I could have. You know what I mean? Like, don't get caught up. At least for me, this is my opinion. Don't get caught up in the FOMO for a book that maybe that's hot for 15 minutes and it's gonna go and just sit in a box that has no significance to you or anything like that. Now, if it does have significance to you and you're fine with paying all that money for it, go for it, man. Do it makes you happy. Because in the end, that's what this hobby should be about. Making you happy, having some fun, meeting good people, but overall, something that you enjoy doing. That's the way I look at it. So, I know for me, I've gone through a lot of changes as far as, what I value as a collector, what I think is cool, and what makes me happy as a collector, and what keeps me going in this thing. And I really do think that when it comes to this type of stuff and just all the angst and animosity and really all the bad feelings that get stirred up by stuff like this, people know that's going to happen. And is it is it any one person's fault? No. The blame lies in a lot of different places. All right, Black Flag has a lot of blame on them. I'll give them that. I'll say that straight out. They have blame on them. Anybody who's doing a dirty practice and knows they're doing it dirty and they're going to do it in a dirty way, yeah, the blame does fall to them. If the goal is to go ahead and pump up a book that is not worth anything or that shouldn't be as pumped up and everything like that as it is, but you're doing it because, hey, man, like, there's money to be made and I'm going to do that, it's dirty, and you have a little bit of the blame for what happens next, for all the craze that comes next after, because you're taking the step to really incite all that into being. The people that let FOMO, just the fear of missing out, the people that have that and just let it drive them into getting trying to chase these things that you can't have, or that you can't get, or that are very hard to get, and then just going to just rant and scream and yell and everything. It's on you too. Like if you really wanted that book and you couldn't get one, and you're upset now that the price is quadrupled and just kept going up, dude, just let it go. Let it go. You can't have everything. And that's my one thing that is the reality to all of us as collectors. You can't have everything, no matter what it is. Unless you're super rich, you will never have everything you want. Just because the fact is, there's too much to collect. There's too much to go after. But you know what you can do? You can find stuff that makes you happy. Enjoy what you're doing, and then just have a good time, and just make it so that everybody, make it so that you personally are having a great time. And if you're able to share that with people, with friends, with family, and everything like that, that's even better. But don't let this shit get you. Don't let fear of missing out and everything else twist this into something that's not enjoyable, just because it's not worth all that. It's not. I mean, if it's gotten to the point where collecting books is not enjoyable anymore just because of stuff like this, then, dude, walk away. Just, like I said, let it go. Just because if it's causing you stress, if it's making you mad, if it's any of that type of stuff, you need to walk away. Take a break. Or step away altogether. You're going to feel better about it later on. Trust me. There's no need to hold on to something like that. So, I really do think that when it comes down to it, find what makes you happy. Find your convention exclusive. Don't find what someone else is going to tell you is a convention exclusive. Find your own convention exclusive. Find what makes you happy. And if what you get makes you happy, if the sketch you got made you happy, great. If the books you got from the dollar bin, hey man, I finished this run, makes you happy, perfect. But just find something that makes you happy when you're doing this stuff. Just because it's too easy for everything to go negative and get so just, and make this seem like it's just, not a fun thing to do anymore. So don't let that happen to you. All right? And like I said, really take a chance to evaluate what you think a con exclusive should be. Because like I said, for me, it's a lot of different things. It's not just the book that's on sale that's going to be at a premium later on. It's the experience as a whole. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on it. And like I said, I do this just for for fun, and I hope that you guys enjoyed my opinion on it. If you didn't, that's okay. Let me know. Either way, you can put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you guys feel. I'm open to hear anybody, and as always, you know what I mean. Just everyone have a good time. I hope you all having a good summer. And you know what? Happy collecting. Collect what you love. I'm out.